Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant, and today I will be doing a mini episode of just previewing the Packers versus Commanders on the special Thursday night football. So let's get started, shall we? This is week 2 of the NFL regular season for the season 2026. And what a way to start off the week. I mean, one of the best, two of the best teams in the NFC facing against each other with potential playoff ramifications in the future. And man, both teams have come off, have come from great victories. Commanders whooping on the Giants 21-6. And these Green Bay motherfucking Packers, man. What a victory against the Detroit Lions. If you haven't caught us, we are working on our week 1 recap show. So just a little bit of spoilers. The Packers did whoop on the Lions. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that during this preview session, but not that much. We're going to focus mostly on the Packers versus Commanders game. So let's start off now with a special announcement. The Packers will be wearing their all-white alternate unis. This is going to be a all-white attack versus the Commies today at Lambeau Field. The Packers have requested all the fans to wear white jerseys and white clothing, as the Packers will be wearing their alternate white uniforms, and it's going to look fantastic. I hope that they do this during the wintertime when there's snow in Lambeau, but it's going to look fantastic against the crimson, against the maroon and yellow for those Washington Commanders. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. The Packers are going to look stunning in all white, and know that this is going to be a match to watch. All right, let's talk about why. The Packers are just going to they're just going to bring that same murderous vibes that they've had since week 1. Really authentic to our meat packing days way back in the 1910s and 1920s as the Green Bay Packers were founded. But yeah, the Packers defense is going to be roaring during this game because Micah said to the team, hunt or be hunted. And really, it's going to bring that same level of ferocity and intensity that we've seen against the Lions in week 1. They're still at home, so they've got the fans right behind them. And man, when Micah is on the field, the fans go wild. So it's going to be very interesting to see that same energy be brought for every single play that Micah is on the field, and every single play that the Packers defense is on the field. So in terms of the defense against this Commanders offense, there are a couple of things that we do have to keep in mind. This isn't the Lions offense who's just lost their coordinator. This is Jaden Daniels, one of the best young QBs, if not the best, one of the best QBs in the league right now. He performed well against the Giants. It is the Giants, but still, it is a division rival. They did have some slip-ups here and there, but Jaden Daniels all around was really good. I believe when you look at his stats, specifically, you have, come on, where did they go? Yeah. So Jaden Daniels specifically had a really nice game. It was, 233 yards, around 70% completion, 19 out of 30, 60% completion. Only 1 touchdown. Now, he did take 3 sacks because that defensive line for the Giants is actually pretty good, and this actually bodes well to what the Packers defense is going to do. And Jaden Daniels did have a 98.3 passer rating. But the important thing to note is that he had 11 rushing attempts for 68 yards, a lot of which were scrambles, but still, we have to be very careful with what Jaden Daniels is going to do on his feet. So to prevent a lot of those extra runs, those scrambles, those out of pocket movements, and the magic that he can do out of the pocket, we need to target Jaden in the pocket. We need to keep him in the pocket, collapse the pocket, and then put pressure on him. Make sure that there isn't even enough time for him to find an open receiver. Consistent four-man pressures with a spy, preferably Edge Cooper, because he is the fastest in terms of sideline to sideline speed, and he's very intelligent in sussing out, run versus pass plays. So he was really good against the Lions in terms of figuring out RPOs, along with Quay Walker. Quay Walker was consistently in the backfield, so expect him to be in the backfield during run plays for the Commanders. And speaking about that, the Commanders did have a very, very successful running game uh, against the Giants. They ran for 220 yards combined from all of their running backs at 6.9 yards per carry. More importantly, 4.4 yards before contact per rush attempt. So that means that offensive line is road grading the opposing defensive line. Now, granted, this is the Giants' defensive line, so we'll see how effective it is against the Packers' D line. But I expect the linebackers to stay a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage to provide that run support, kind of like what we saw in obvious run situations versus the Lions, where you had all three of our linebackers, Quay, Edge Cooper, and Isaiah McDuffie, just like crowding the line of scrimmage, making that front four, providing support for that front four. So those are two things that we have to really keep in mind. Keep Jaden in the pocket, get pressure on him in the pocket and collapse it so that he doesn't have anywhere to go. And then in the run game, consistent support from all front seven members so that we don't really allow them to get any sort of success in the run game. Now, switching sides here, this Packers offense is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game for the Packers offense. The Commanders defense was pretty good. I mean, they only allowed 6 points to the Giants. They held Russell Wilson to just, you know, to just 168 yards of passing, 17 of 37. But Russell Wilson did not do well. I mean, he just looked out of focus. He just looked completely, um, you know, unable to do anything except for running on the ground. He did have 8 attempts for 44 yards, the majority of them being scrambles. 6 of them were scrambles. So a lot of the time, a lot of times Russell Wilson was just evading pressure. And you could see the Giants' offensive line was clearly getting hampered. They were pressured on 22.2% of dropbacks, which was, about 12th in the league last week. So that is something to watch out for. But this Packers offensive line is so stout. Even without Zach Tom, Aiden Hutchinson had nothing on Jordan Love. Jordan Love had consistently high amounts of time in the pocket to find the open receiver or make the open receiver become open. Make the receiver become open with his wildly accurate, insanely accurate throws. So I don't expect that much of a drop off from the Packers offense. I still kind of expect a little bit of kinks here and there that they have to iron out, maybe a couple drops here and there. I don't think there's going to be a pick. Maybe, might be, but I'm not going to jinx anything. So it is going to be very important for us to focus on the offensive side on establishing this run game. Now, the Commanders did a good job against the Giants' rushing attack. Tyrone Tracy only had 2.4 yards per attempt. Uh, Russell Wilson mostly, all of his rushing yards were really based on scrambles, just 44 yards. And Devin Singletary, it was very bad. Needless to say, the Commanders' defensive line was really, really good at restricting the Giants' offense from doing anything. Again, it is the Giants' offense, so I'm not really surprised at this at all. So the thing that we're going to have to look into now is, can the Packers really utilize Josh Jacobs in explosive ways and figure out ways to generate some more explosive runs? That's going to really kill the Commanders defense. Just getting explosive runs and explosive plays. That's going to pile up the scoreboard, as we saw versus the Lions. I mean, we had a drive where we had 2 plays, 65 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's exactly what we're going to expect to see out of the Packers offense. I don't think the Commanders defense is going to give them that hard of a time. Now, they do have a lot of veterans. They do have Dan Quinn coaching that defense. So, maybe it is going to be a little bit tougher to move the ball on, but I don't really see that much of a fight. Speaking of which, that's going to be it for my preview for this Commanders and Packers game in Lambeau Field. I expect the Packers to win by about 10 points, about 2 scores, maybe not 2 touchdowns, maybe just like 2 scores, about 10 points. I think 30-20 is a very probabilistic outcome for this game. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching and listening to us. And if you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms where we host our podcasts on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Cast. Or you could find us on YouTube, Instagram, and X, all under at NFL Masala 2022. That is at NFL Masala 2022. And I'm going to hit you with our signature outro. Go Pack Go.